The story of human evolution is one of resilience and adaptability, marked by tremendous successes and unparalleled hardships. Modern humans, with an average lifespan of 73 years globally, live in a world vastly different from the one in which our earliest ancestors struggled to survive. Today, advances in medicine, technology, and agriculture have extended lifespans, alleviated suffering, and created conditions of relative abundance for much of humanity. However, the path to this point was fraught with unimaginable challenges, particularly during the earliest phases of human evolution. Homo habilis, one of the first species to exhibit characteristics associated with the genus Homo, lived in a world that was harsh, unpredictable, and dangerous at nearly every turn. For them, survival was not measured in decades, but often in mere years. The environment they inhabited was teeming with predators, food was often scarce or contested, and every aspect of their physical and mental capabilities was pushed to its limits. Despite these challenges, Homo habilis managed to carve out a niche that would eventually pave the way for future human evolution. Their existence serves as a testament to the extraordinary resilience of the human lineage, but it also underscores how dire their circumstances truly were. To understand their plight, it is essential to examine their physical vulnerabilities, dietary struggles, and interactions with their environment and competitors. Homo habilis was significantly smaller and less robust than many of the predators and competitors they faced in the wild. Averaging under 4 feet tall, their relatively slight stature and lighter skeletal structure placed them at a distinct disadvantage. Unlike later humans or larger mammals of their time, they lacked the physical strength or natural defenses to deter predators effectively. Their bodies were not well suited for prolonged or intense combat, and injuries that might seem minor today, such as a broken bone or a deep cut, could be life-threatening. Infection and impaired mobility would have quickly rendered an individual vulnerable to predation or starvation. Their lifestyle also contributed to their physical risks. Evidence suggests that Homo habilis retained some partially arboreal habits, meaning they spent a significant amount of time climbing trees to forage or escape predators. While this provided a temporary refuge, it also increased the likelihood of falls. A fall from even a moderate height could result in debilitating injuries, further compounding the challenges they already faced. Without advanced medical knowledge or tools, even minor injuries could spell disaster for an individual or their group. Despite these physical vulnerabilities, Homo habilis demonstrated an early spark of ingenuity and adaptability that defined the human lineage. Their relatively larger brain size compared to earlier hominins enabled them to devise rudimentary tools and strategies to survive, albeit barely. However, this intelligence alone could not compensate for the constant threats posed by their environment. Diet posed another significant challenge for Homo habilis, and their nutritional habits often placed them in dangerous situations. As omnivores, they consumed a varied diet that included plants, fruits, insects, and, most notably, meat. Their reliance on meat was a double-edged sword. While it provided vital nutrients and energy, obtaining it was fraught with peril. Unlike modern humans who rely on domesticated animals or organized hunting techniques, Homo habilis primarily scavenged for meat. This meant waiting for apex predators like saber-toothed cats or hyenas to finish their meals and then attempting to claim the remains. Such activities were inherently dangerous, as predators were known to guard their kills aggressively or return to the site after being temporarily displaced. The tools Homo habilis developed allowed them to access marrow from bones and flesh from carcasses more efficiently than their predecessors. However, scavenging was often a competitive and time-sensitive endeavor. They had to contend not only with large predators but also with other scavengers, such as vultures and smaller carnivores, who were equally desperate for food. This competition often led to confrontations that Homo habilis, with their physical limitations, were ill-equipped to handle. Proximity to water sources, while providing an opportunity to gather additional food such as fish or aquatic plants, presented its own set of dangers. Large aquatic predators, such as the giant crocodile Crocodylus anthropophagus, were a constant threat. These crocodiles were capable of ambushing unsuspecting prey at the water's edge, making fishing or collecting water a risky task. The presence of such formidable predators further limited their access to crucial resources, exacerbating the challenges of securing a consistent and safe food supply. Homo habilis was not just battling the external environment, but also the internal demands of their growing brains and developing social structures. Their nutritional needs were increasing, and their reliance on tools indicated a shift toward a more meat-based diet to fuel these changes. However, this shift came at a cost, as it required them to take greater risks and exposed them to a wider range of predators and environmental hazards. Even their plant-based food sources were not always secure. Droughts, competition with other species, and the potential toxicity of some plants added to their dietary difficulties. In the context of their evolutionary challenges, Homo habilis' survival was nothing short of miraculous. They managed to endure despite their small size, lack of natural defenses, and reliance on a problematic diet that often placed them in life-threatening situations. Their ability to adapt, innovate, and persist through such adversities laid the foundation for future human evolution. But their daily lives were marked by an unrelenting struggle for survival. The story of Homo habilis serves as a sobering reminder of how far humanity has come and the extreme conditions our ancestors endured to make it possible. Homo habilis lived in an unforgiving world dominated by apex predators and other environmental dangers, making interactions with these threats a central part of their daily existence. From the moment they ventured out in search of food or resources, they faced constant peril from large carnivores that viewed them as easy prey. Unlike modern humans, who can rely on tools, shelters, and complex social structures for protection, Homo habilis was equipped with only rudimentary tools, limited physical strength, and a fledgling understanding of their environment. These shortcomings made every encounter with a predator a potentially fatal experience. The plains and woodlands of prehistoric Africa were home to a terrifying array of predators. Saber-toothed cats, such as the Meganteron, posed a significant threat with their sharp, elongated canine teeth designed to pierce and crush. These predators were likely ambush hunters, striking from cover and delivering quick, devastating attacks. Once a member of a Homo habilis group was targeted, there was little chance of escape or survival. Other feline predators, like the Dinophalus, added to the danger. These large cats were not only powerful hunters, but also known for targeting hominins as a part of their diet. Fossil evidence even suggests that some hominin remains bear the distinctive puncture marks of Dinophalus attacks. In addition to the felines, giant hyenas roamed the landscape, scavenging and hunting in packs. These formidable creatures could overpower even the most well-prepared Homo habilis groups, especially since their social structures were not yet advanced enough to coordinate large-scale defensive strategies. Unlike solitary predators, these hyenas worked together, making them especially dangerous to small, isolated bands of Homo habilis. The constant presence of scavengers and predators ensured that even accessing a carcass for food was an exercise fraught with danger. A single misstep could mean injury, death, or the loss of hard-won resources. Adding to the list of terrestrial threats were herbivores that, while not strictly predators, were still highly dangerous. Territorial animals like rhinos, elephants, and hippos would aggressively defend their space, often perceiving Homo habilis as a threat. These massive creatures could trample or gore individuals who strayed too close, further limiting the safe areas where Homo habilis could forage or seek shelter. Aquatic predators added another dimension of danger to their lives. Giant crocodiles, such as Crocodylus anthropophagus, were apex predators that thrived near the water sources Homo habilis often relied on. These crocodiles were exceptionally large and capable of ambushing prey from beneath the water's surface. Their ability to remain unseen until the moment of attack made them particularly fearsome. Homo habilis, in their attempts to gather fish or drink water, would have been vulnerable to these stealthy hunters. A single encounter with a crocodile could decimate an already fragile group, leaving survivors even more exposed to other dangers. The risks Homo habilis faced from predators extended beyond direct attacks. The very presence of such threats shaped their behavior, limiting their movements and forcing them to adopt high-risk strategies to access food and resources. While other species could rely on physical strength, speed, or defensive adaptations like horns or claws, Homo habilis had no such advantages. Their survival depended on their ability to avoid detection, retreat quickly, or exploit temporary opportunities when predators were distracted or absent. Competition for resources further compounded the challenges Homo habilis faced. The African landscape was teeming with other hominin species, many of whom occupied overlapping ecological niches. Homo habilis lived alongside contemporaneous species like Homo erectus, Homo rudolfensis, and Paranthropus boisei. These interactions were not always peaceful. Fossil evidence suggests that conflicts over territory, food, and other resources likely occurred, and Homo habilis, with its smaller size and less developed tools, may have often found itself at a disadvantage. While direct conflict with other hominins might have been rare, the competition for resources was constant. Paranthropus boisei, for instance, was a robust hominin species with powerful jaws adapted for chewing tough plant material. This dietary specialization allowed them to exploit food sources that Homo habilis might not have been able to process, giving them a competitive edge in certain environments. Homo erectus, on the other hand, had more advanced tools and likely more sophisticated social structures, allowing them to outcompete Homo habilis in some areas. Homo habilis also faced threats from larger primates, such as Dinopithecus, a giant baboon-like creature that could have acted as both a competitor and a predator. Dinopithecus, with its large size and aggressive nature, was capable of inflicting serious harm and may have viewed Homo habilis as both a threat and an opportunistic food source. These primates occupied a unique space in the ecosystem, and their interactions with early humans were likely fraught with tension and violence. In addition to direct competition with other species, Homo habilis had to navigate the broader ecological web of their time. They shared their environment with a wide variety of scavengers, herbivores, and omnivores, all of whom placed additional pressures on already scarce resources. Every day was a balancing act between avoiding predators, outcompeting rivals, and securing enough food to survive. The energy expended on these activities left little room for error. A single failed attempt to scavenge, a minor injury, or an unexpected predator attack could mean death. Despite these overwhelming challenges, Homo habilis persisted. Their ability to survive in such a dangerous and competitive environment was a remarkable achievement. However, their lives were dominated by fear, conflict, and a constant struggle to meet their basic needs. Their existence illustrates the harsh realities of life in prehistoric Africa and highlights the extraordinary resilience that would eventually define the human lineage. The world that Homo habilis inhabited was marked by intense and unpredictable environmental fluctuations that had profound effects on their survival. Prehistoric Africa, while rich in biodiversity, was also a landscape of extremes, where climatic shifts could transform abundant ecosystems into barren wastelands in the span of generations. These changes shaped the lives of Homo habilis, forcing them to adapt to an ever-changing environment while grappling with limited resources, poor health, and the omnipresent threat of starvation. One of the most significant environmental challenges was the variability of climate. Homo habilis lived during the Pleistocene epoch, a period characterized by oscillations between glacial and interglacial periods. While Homo habilis primarily inhabited regions of Africa where glaciers were absent, these global climate changes still profoundly affected their local environment. Cycles of warming and cooling altered rainfall patterns, leading to periodic droughts or floods that disrupted food availability. During droughts, vegetation that supported both Homo habilis and their prey would have withered, reducing access to essential resources. Scarcity of food likely caused widespread starvation and malnutrition, taking a heavy toll on their population. Even during times of relative abundance, Homo habilis faced health challenges directly tied to their environment and diet. Their diet, while varied, was not always nutritionally balanced. Much of their food consisted of tough plant matter, scavenged meat, and occasional aquatic resources like fish. While these provided essential calories, they also led to significant wear and tear on their teeth. Fossil evidence shows that Homo habilis experienced extreme dental wear, even at a young age. Their teeth were often ground down by coarse plant fibers, grit from soil-covered food, and the mechanical effort required to chew raw meat and tough plants. Dental problems, such as abscesses, infections, and tooth loss, would have made eating painful or impossible, contributing to malnutrition and early death. In addition to dental issues, their exposure to environmental hazards likely caused a range of other health problems. Living in close proximity to water sources exposed them to parasites and diseases, including malaria, schistosomiasis, and bacterial infections. Cuts or scrapes, which were common given their rough lifestyle, could easily become infected, as there were no methods to sterilize wounds or treat illnesses effectively. Infection and disease would have further reduced their already short lifespans, compounding the difficulties of survival. High infant mortality rates were another stark reality of life for Homo habilis. Fossil evidence suggests that many individuals did not survive past infancy or early childhood, largely due to malnutrition, predation, or disease. For every individual who reached adulthood, many more likely perished before they could contribute to the group. This high mortality rate placed immense pressure on groups to reproduce quickly and frequently to sustain their population, but it also meant that the loss of an individual, particularly a childbearing adult, could be devastating. Despite these challenges, Homo habilis displayed some degree of resilience. Their group dynamics may have provided limited protection from environmental hazards. By living in small groups, they could pool resources, care for injured members, and offer some defense against predators. However, the harsh environment ensured that no group was ever truly safe, and every day was a battle for survival against the forces of nature. Though life for Homo habilis was undeniably harsh, their existence was not without triumphs. Their survival for over 1.5 million years in an environment filled with predators, competitors, and environmental challenges is a remarkable achievement. The species displayed early examples of ingenuity and social cooperation, traits that would come to define the human lineage in the millennia to come. One of the most significant successes of Homo habilis was their ability to use and create tools. Known as the first toolmakers, Homo habilis developed a technology known as the Oldowan industry. These tools, primarily simple stone flakes and cores, were used to cut meat, crush bones to extract marrow, and perhaps even to craft rudimentary shelters or dig for roots. This technological leap gave Homo habilis a crucial edge in accessing food that other animals could not. For example, by using tools to crack open bones, they could extract nutrient-rich marrow, providing them with a valuable energy source that supported their brain development. The ability to create and use tools marked a major evolutionary milestone. It not only allowed Homo habilis to exploit new food sources, but also set the stage for the more sophisticated technologies of later hominin species. These tools were the first signs of humanity's capacity to manipulate the environment to meet its needs, a trait that would eventually lead to the complex societies and technologies of modern humans. Another area of success for Homo habilis was their social organization. While their group structures were likely less complex than those of later hominins, living in larger groups offered distinct advantages. Group living provided some measure of protection against predators, as individuals could alert others to danger and work together to drive off threats. It also facilitated the sharing of resources, such as food, tools, and shelter. By cooperating, Homo habilis could achieve tasks that would have been impossible for a solitary individual. Social interaction may have also played a role in the development of early communication. Although Homo habilis lacked the advanced vocal apparatus of modern humans, their larger brains suggest that they may have used simple vocalizations, gestures, or other forms of communication to coordinate their efforts. These early forms of communication would have been critical for tasks like scavenging, where timing and teamwork were essential for success. In addition to their technological and social advances, Homo habilis demonstrated a remarkable ability to adapt to a variety of environments. Their fossils have been found in diverse habitats, ranging from open grasslands to wooded areas, indicating a level of ecological flexibility. This adaptability was key to their survival, allowing them to endure environmental fluctuations and changes in resource availability. Despite their many hardships, the achievements of Homo habilis laid the groundwork for the evolutionary success of the human lineage. Their tools, social behaviors, and ability to adapt to harsh conditions were the seeds of traits that would be refined and expanded by later hominin species. While their lives were marked by struggle, their successes are a testament to the resilience and ingenuity that define humanity's deep history. The story of Homo habilis, though fraught with challenges, is not solely defined by hardship. Their brief but significant successes reveal a species that, despite overwhelming odds, managed to endure and even innovate in ways that would set the stage for the evolution of later hominins. These successes were not grand by modern standards, but for their time, they represented groundbreaking adaptations and achievements that would ripple through the evolutionary timeline. One of the most critical advancements attributed to Homo habilis was their use of tools. The Oldowan tools they developed were simple but effective, consisting of sharp-edged flakes chipped from larger stones and unmodified cores used for pounding. These tools were a revolutionary step forward, enabling Homo habilis to exploit resources that were previously inaccessible. The ability to crack bones and extract marrow, for instance, provided a critical nutritional advantage. Marrow is rich in calories and fat, offering an energy-dense food source that was essential for fueling the brain's metabolic demands. The consumption of marrow likely played a pivotal role in supporting the growth of their brains, which were larger than those of earlier hominins. The use of tools also reflects an important cognitive leap. The deliberate selection of raw materials, the ability to envision the final form of a tool, and the knowledge of how to use it effectively indicate a level of planning and problem-solving that was unique to Homo habilis. This innovation marked the beginning of a long tradition of technological development in the human lineage, showcasing the adaptability and ingenuity that would become hallmarks of our species. Homo habilis also exhibited social behaviors that, while rudimentary compared to later hominins, were foundational to human evolution. Living in groups provided them with several advantages, including enhanced protection from predators, the ability to share resources, and opportunities for collective problem-solving. For example, group living allowed Homo habilis to cooperate when scavenging for meat, using their numbers to fend off competitors or predators while one or more individuals worked to extract food from a carcass. Such cooperation suggests the early development of trust and shared goals, critical components of social structure that would become increasingly complex in later species. In their groups, Homo habilis may have also begun to develop rudimentary forms of communication. Although they lacked the sophisticated vocal apparatus of modern humans, their enlarged brains suggest they had the capacity for more complex thought and interaction than their predecessors. Communication could have taken the form of gestures, facial expressions or simple vocalizations, allowing them to coordinate tasks, alert others to danger, or share basic information. These early forms of communication would have laid the groundwork for the development of language, one of humanity's defining traits. Another area where Homo habilis demonstrated success was their ability to adapt to diverse environments. Fossil evidence shows that they inhabited a range of habitats, from open savannas to forested areas. This ecological flexibility was crucial for their survival, especially during periods of climatic instability. By exploiting a variety of resources and learning to navigate different landscapes, Homo habilis ensured their persistence in an unpredictable world. This adaptability underscores their resilience and hints at the evolutionary potential that would later be realized by their descendants. While these achievements were significant, they were ultimately overshadowed by the relentless challenges of their environment. The story of Homo habilis is a reminder of how fragile survival was in prehistoric times and how even small advancements could mean the difference between extinction and persistence. Their successes, while modest, were monumental in their impact, serving as stepping stones for the evolution of more advanced hominin species. As we reflect on the story of Homo habilis, it becomes clear that their existence was defined by both extraordinary challenges and remarkable resilience. Their lives were a daily struggle against an unforgiving environment filled with predators, scarce resources, and physical vulnerabilities. Yet, despite these hardships, they managed to survive for over 1.5 million years, a testament to their adaptability and ingenuity. Homo habilis represents a critical link in the chain of human evolution. Their development of tools, their social behaviors, and their ability to adapt to diverse environments laid the foundation for later species like Homo erectus and eventually Homo sapiens. Without their ability to innovate and persevere, the story of humanity might have ended before it even began. Reflecting on their struggles also offers a broader perspective on the trajectory of human evolution. Modern humans enjoy comforts and technologies that would have been unimaginable to Homo habilis, but our success is built on their achievements. The rudimentary tools they crafted, the social bonds they formed, and the adaptations they made to survive in a harsh world were the seeds of the complex civilizations we see today. The survival of Homo habilis for such an extended period, despite the overwhelming odds against them, speaks to the resilience of the human spirit. Their story reminds us of our deep connection to the natural world and the remarkable journey of our species. While they may not have lived lives of comfort or security, their existence was a profound testament to the power of adaptation and the enduring legacy of early human innovation.